Oh yeah, nothing is better when you're on a flight to Ibiza for yet another music festival with your boys, David Guetta, Kelvin Harris, et al. And you get some news about another Wisconsin offensive line commit. And I'm here to tell you this is a big one. Hardy Watts, big literally and big figuratively. Hardy Watts, he's a big boy out of Massachusetts. 6'6", possibly still growing. 305. So he's not what you typically see even with 4 and 5 star high school offensive line recruits is you get the height, but the weight is lagging behind. And don't get me wrong, this kid's going to end up bigger. We put 20 pounds of muscle on him in Madison, but this kid's already 305. So this was a big one. 4 star recruit comes in as one of the top two, depending on the service you subscribe to, top two rated recruits in the 2025 class for the Badgers. Just a massive get. And it came down to Wisconsin, Michigan, where it until very recently looked like he was going, and Clemson. So this was a dogfight with some absolute blue blood programs, including defending national champion Michigan. And bingo, Wisconsin comes out ahead. AJ Blazik strikes again. Blazik, excuse me. Don't want to be on his wrong side. He seems like a good dude, though. Anyway, though, I'm here to tell you, besides rejoicing in yet another big time recruit in the 25 cycle, uh, why the offensive line class for 2025 that the Wisconsin Badgers are currently building has all the markings of an incredibly successful one. Uh, I know I've been arguing a little bit online with some generally old school Badger fans who really were liking the direction of the program in 22 for whatever reason. Uh, that these lines don't compare to some of the better classes Chris had towards the end of his tenure. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm here to tell you that there are some real good players that Chris recruited on the offensive line. Some in the NFL now, some coming back. So this isn't an us versus them thing. All I'm telling you is based on what I'm seeing, the film, the measurables, the rankings, the plan, and just the bulk and size. I'm going to get to that in a minute that Luke Fickle and Aze Blazik have a incredibly intricate plan that they are laying out. They started in 24, they're continuing it in 25 to bring back not a good, not an okay, not a passable, but a dominant Wisconsin offensive line. The kind of offensive line that you need to truly run an air raid concept offense that has both a strong running component and a strong passing component, especially downfield passing. Uh, I know these kids I'm talking about now, obviously for various reasons, not least of which the fact they're in high school this fall, are going to help the Badgers this season. But, the 25, 26, 27 season, they're going to be key pieces. And before anyone jumps in and says it, yes, we live in the portal era. There is a very strong chance, probably even a high likelihood, that one or more of them will not eventually end up being meaningful Badgers. That just happens. It's the way things move. But what we can do is evaluate them as prospects, and let's do that. So Hardy Watts, like I mentioned, just a big bruising, mauling, uh, almost certainly a tackle, left or right tackle. Gigantic, good feet, good hands. There are much better talent evaluators on YouTube right now that you can get that stuff from. But let's suffice to say, people like the cut of his jib. This guy's going to come in and play, and like I mentioned, he already has a 25-pound head start on the weight that a lot of these other kids uh, even the good ones that Wisconsin has gotten commitments from are he's got a head start on that size, that weight. But anyway, let's take real quick. This is a quick hitter. The three reasons why this class is so good. You got to get Hardy. So first of all, the size of them. You got Hardy Watts, as I mentioned, 6'6", 305. Logan Powell, 6'5", 285, another 4 star. Cam Clark, 6'7", 285. Welkereski, 6'8", Wisconsin kid, 6'8", 290. Nolan Davenport, 6'6", 280. Are we sensing a trend here? These are gigantic, tall, rangy, in most cases athletic kids that can put 25 pounds of muscle on. And this is an NFL-sized offensive line in 18 months. These are just some gigantic kids. So we can see, not that Paul Chris never had beefers on his offensive lines, but I'm telling you, there's an emphasis especially with the 2025 class, that clearly Blazik and Luke Fickle in their plan that is being unfurled right now, they're going after big kids. These are gigantic kids, and you can't teach size. Uh, What another thing he's looking at is these guys can all move. I mean, that's pretty important too. He doesn't want guys who are stone statues, and I think that's again that's something that a guy like lockdown Badgers Ryan Herring's bless his move, and some of these guys can get deeper into. But these guys are not flat-footed stone statues. These are athletic kids. Uh, well, let's also look at the offer list. Again, not it doesn't prove anything. It does not mean anyone is going to be a superstar, but it is instructive as we're looking at this. Watts just beat out Clemson and Michigan. Those were his final three, and frankly, he was all but locked to Michigan 10 days ago. And I think this is a testament to the Wisconsin staff and some of these other kids on the offensive line, Roski and some of these other guys who are lobbying him. We got him in the fold. Uh, yeah, Logan Powell, Alabama offer. Cam Clark, Penn State, Michigan State offer. Roski, the in-state kid. Michigan, Notre Dame offers. Nolan Davenport, in some services, the lowest ranked of the five, and kind of like I guess we're talking about the Fab Five. He's maybe the Ray Jackson. Still an amazing talent, and people love his upside. He could end up being the best kid in this entire class. But we had Penn State, Michigan State, Missouri. So this is again, offers don't mean everything, but this is a class with an incredible offer list. So these are big time programs, in many cases, blue blood programs who are after these guys. And these aren't, I believe these are actionable offers. These are not offers that you give to an in-state kid because you want to be nice. These kids were getting recruited by these schools and had visits. I mean, Watts was on campus in Clemson. Watt was on campus in Ann Arbor. And frankly, him being on campus at Madison in June, he could do a lot worse. That couldn't have hurt. And finally, I referred to him, but AJ Blazek, the new Wisconsin offensive line coach, he hasn't coached a down of football in an actual game for the Badgers. Okay, so I want to be clear here. There's some caveats, but he is crushing everything else from the kind of the PR, saying the right things, having the right look to his recruiting efforts. Uh, it just seems like the right fit. He's got two of those three things, and now we just got to see what we can do on the field. But by all accounts, he's been good in the past, albeit at a different level. But he just seems to be bringing a swagger and a confidence and a recruiting acumen into that room that we have not seen for quite some time. Uh, so it's great. I feel like this team with these gigantic kids with incredible offer lists who are not stiffs, who can move around, who have athletic components that you're looking for that kind of team that can have a equal run and pass game, a run and air raid offense, with a really really uh, high energy coach with tremendous upside in Blazek. I think the Badgers are looking great for the future along the offensive line, and I am incredibly excited about this 2025 offensive line class, specifically, and the 2025 class generally. Still in the top 10 and rivals, and just looking great. So, hey, hats off! Welcome to the fold, Hardy Watts. Uh, could you make up a football name that's better than Hardy Watts if there were like a Wisconsin Badger football movie? I don't know. That's up there. But hey, have a great week, Badgers. Happy 4th